A knock interrupted us. 3 sharp raps. The bishop froze. Not fear, recognition. Who is it? He asked carefully. Courier, came a voice outside. Vale went pale. I drew my revolver automatically. The bishop opened the door halfway. Shotgun blast nearly tore him in half. The roar filled the room like cannon fire. Vale crashed backwards across the desk in a spray of blood and shattered whiskey glass. I spun towards the doorway, firing twice. A man in a gray overcoat stumbled against the corridor wall, clutching his chest before another gunman opened fire from farther down the hall. Bullets chewed through wood panels. I dragged the bishop behind the overturned desk while priests screamed somewhere beyond the corridor. First gunman bled out fast. Professional killers usually did when shot properly. Second one retreated immediately, also professional. I knelt beside Vale. Blood soaked his robes black. Find, he rasped. Save your strength, I told him. His hand grabbed my sleeve with surprising force. There's a ledger. Where? In the crypt. Of course there was. Beneath St. Michael, he said. His breathing hitched wetly. Names, he whispered. Everyone. Then the bishop died, staring at the cathedral ceiling like he hoped God might finally explain himself. Sirens screamed outside moments later. Too fast. Somebody already had the police ready. I ran before they locked the building down. The crypt beneath St. Bartholomew smelled like mildew, incense and old stone. Rows of dead bishops lined the walls in marble silence while candlelight flickered across the carved faces. St. Michael stood at the far end, crushing a demon beneath his foot. I searched the statue until I found the hidden latch behind the sword arm. Inside sat a black ledger. Simple, leather-bound, heavy enough to ruin governments. I opened it. Every page was poison. Payments, judges, police commissioners, union bosses, business owners, clergy, and names I recognized from newspapers, charity galas, and election posters. At the very back was a final page, one line. Project Ninth Circle, Executive Oversight Committee. Underneath were 4 names: Vincent Moretti, Mayor Theodore Griggs, Commissioner Hale, and Clara Vane. For a moment, the world stopped moving correctly. I read it twice, then a third time. Same result every time. Footsteps echoed through the crypt. I snapped the ledger shut and drew my revolver. Clara stepped out from the shadows wearing a dark trench coat, damp with rain. You found it, she said softly. I aimed the gun directly at her heart. Tell me I'm wrong. Her expression tightened. I can explain, she said. It's usually how guilt starts. She looked exhausted now, not glamorous, not sharp-tongued, just tired clear through her bones. I never wanted this, she said quietly. Then why is your name in the ledger? Because somebody had to know how the machine worked. I laughed once without humor. That's a politician's answer. Her eyes flashed. You think I enjoyed any of this? Watching neighborhoods rot while officials stole relief money? Watching mobs run entire districts because nobody else could keep food on shelves? So you joined them. I infiltrated them, she said. Convenient distinction. She stepped closer despite the gun. I became useful, she said. That's how you survive institutions like this. People died, I said. Yes. The crypt fell silent except for dripping water somewhere in the darkness. Then she said one thing I wasn't ready to hear. They killed your brother. My finger tightened on the trigger involuntarily. 3 years ago, my brother Daniel Fine disappeared investigating corruption down at the harbor. Police called it gang violence. Closed case. End of discussion. I stared at her. What did you say? Clara's voice softened. Daniel found the ledger first. Cold moved through my chest like a blade. No. He tried to expose them. Moretti ordered the hit, but he didn't act alone. I stepped toward her. You knew this whole time? Yes. Her words hit harder than any punch ever had. Why didn't you tell me? because you would have gotten yourself killed. I still might. I know. Her eyes glisten now, but she refused to look away. That's the worst part about loving someone like you, Will, she whispered. You never stop walking toward the gunfire. Crypt lights died, darkness swallowed everything. Then came the sound of slow applause. Well, Vincent Moretti said from somewhere in the blackness, this has certainly become emotional. Flashlights ignited around the crypt. Gunmen emerged between tombs. 6 at least, maybe more. Moretti stood near the stairs in his charcoal suit, holding a silver pistol casually at his side. You know, he sighed, I genuinely hoped you'd both make better choices. I kept my revolver trained forward. Clara didn't move. Moretti smiled faintly. The tragedy of intelligent people is that they always mistake information for power. Thunder shook the cathedral overhead. Then Commissioner Hale stepped from the shadows inside Moretti. Police commissioner, clean public image, war medals, charity boards, murderer. You can still survive this, Hale said calmly. Hand over the ledger. And then what, I asked. We bury the scandal. City remains stable. After you kill us? Moretti spread his hands slightly. Mr. Find, stability has always been built on unpleasant necessities. I looked around the crypt full of dead holy men and corrupt living ones. Then I smiled tiredly. You know what your problem is? Moretti raised an eyebrow. You all started believing your own speeches. And the cathedral exploded. Not metaphorically, actually exploded. A gas leak in the old structure. The blast tore through the upper nave with a deafening roar. Stone cracked overhead, dust thundered through the crypt ceiling while gunmen staggered in confusion. A second explosion followed somewhere near the bell tower. Claire stared upward. Just at that moment, Hart crashed through the crypt entrance with a shotgun and 3 armed detectives behind him. Nobody move, he yelled. Gunfire erupted instantly. One Moretti's men dropped, then another. Crypt became chaos wrapped in smoke and screaming echoes. I grabbed Clara and dragged her behind a stone tomb while bullets shadowed marble saints above us. Hart pumped the shotgun again. Federal agents are upstairs, he shouted. It's over. Commissioner Hale shot Hart in the shoulder. Moretti ran for the stairs. I ran after him. Of course I did. Rain blasted through the shattered cathedral roof above as I chased Moretti into the storm-dark nave. Fires burned near the altar. Priests fled through smoke. Sirens wailed outside in growing numbers. Moretti limped toward the side exit, clutching his pistol. You can't save this city, he shouted over the thunder. I tackled him before he reached the doors. We crashed into burning pews. His gun skidded away. Then it became his fists. Real ugly ones. Moretti fought like a man who learned violence young and refined it professionally. He slammed my head against the marble hard enough to blur my vision. You think truth matters, he snarled. Truth is panic. Truth is collapse. I drove a punch into his throat. Maybe. He staggered backward, coughing. But lies built this city. He reached for the fallen pistol. I shot him first. 1 round, center mass. Moretti stared down at the blood spreading across his expensive suit like he couldn't quite believe mortality applied to him. Then he collapsed beside the burning altar. Outside, dawn finally began breaking over the harbor. Police swarmed the cathedral. Federal agents stormed the grounds. Reporters gathered like vultures sensing fresh meat. And somewhere beneath the sirens and rain and smoke, I realized the city was finally waking up. Maybe not into something better, but awake all the same.